Hi filmmakers, it is Kerry with Filmmaker Central, and we got another microphone to talk about today. Stay right there, we'll be right back. Now I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that if you are watching this channel, you are probably interested in filmmaking, because this is Filmmaker Central after all. And if you are, then there's generally three things that you're concerned about. Aside from making sure that you have good actors, you want a good camera, you want, good quality imagery, you need lights, you got to set the stage, you got to set the mood, you have to make sure your exposure is right, but you really, really need good audio. And if you have the best looking imagery with the best lighting and you have horrible audio, it's over. No one's going to watch because audio is so important. We live off of audio cues. So audio is super important. Now, this particular review is about the Comica BoomX-D Pro wireless mic system. But there's a little backstory here. And a few years ago, Comica reached out and said, hey, we'd like you to try our little shotgun mic. It's really good. It's amazing. It's getting fantastic reviews. You got to check it out. So I was like, sure, give it a try. I was testing some other microphones at the time, and I did the video, and I decided I'm going to let them see this video and reply to me before I make a decision as to what I'm going to do. And in that video, I said, this is the worst microphone I've ever used. The noise floor was nuts. And if you looked at it, the thing funny, it made horrible scratching sounds. It was just a bad microphone. There was nothing good about it. And so we went back and forth and they tried to convince me how good it was. And I'm like sending them audio samples. And I'm like, look, forget it. I'm done. I don't want to deal with this. Don't want to deal with you guys. I'm done. And so over the last couple years, when Comica has offered me other products, I've pretty much just turned them down across the board. I haven't been interested, and it was because of that one bad experience. Recently, though, I saw some other YouTubers do a review of this system, the BoomX-D Pro, and there hasn't been anything negative to say about it. So they actually reached out to me and said, hey, would you like to try this? And I'm like, actually, I would. I'm very curious as to how good this thing is. Or are these other YouTubers just blowing smoke to get in good graces with Comica? I don't hold back. If it's a bad product, I say so. And so I took it. And it's a little surprising. But let's get into what do you get? What do you get, right? You have this carrying case. It's got a pouch on the top with a bunch of stuff in it. We'll get to that. You get two transmitters and a receiver. So this is very, very similar to the R0DE Wireless GO II. A lot of similarity between the two. Now, I have a receiver and a transmitter here. Where's the other transmitter? Well, it's right here. I'm using it. All of the audio for this video is being recorded directly to one of the transmitters. So that's why I wanted to do this, so that you hear what this microphone is all about. Now, it's recording internally to 8 gigs of internal memory, which is going to give it about 24 hours of recording ability because it's recording at 16-bit. The Wireless GO II records at 24-bit. Now, normally that would be like, well, that's a huge difference. And it's a difference, and it can be an important difference, but it's not a monumental difference, I should say. And really, if you're only using this as backup to the main system, well, then it's plenty fine. Should for some reason you need to go to the backup audio that's recorded on here, you can, because normally you're going to go right into the camera, but I couldn't because I wanted to show you the product. So it's a little different today. But what you're hearing is the 16-bit recording that's going directly to the receiver using their lavalier mic that comes with the package. So no third-party products. This is all Comica, and this is all included. So wanted to get that out of the way. And this does operate on 2.4 gigahertz, and they claim about 100 meters of range. We'll get to some range testing in the future here, but I want to go over what do you get? What do you get in the package first? And first off, you have your transmitter, and very, very lightweight. It's plastic, which I totally expected it to be plastic. The Wireless GO II is plastic. Very lightweight. Build quality on it, not bad. You know, it doesn't feel like it's going to break, and it's super light. So even if I drop it, it's probably not going to break unless I drop it directly onto concrete. If I drop it on carpet, it's not going to break. Not worried about that. On the top, you have a built-in microphone element, just like the Wireless GO II. You have a mic jack, just like the Wireless GO II. On the side, we have an on-off button, which also operates as mute. And we have a pair button, should for some reason the system get disconnected. Now there's also a little hole down here, and surprisingly, it actually comes with a little SIM card removal tool, like for your iPhone, that you can put in there, and that's to reset it. And I don't know what would cause you to have to reset it, so I'm just not sure what situation that would call for. I haven't had to. The system's actually been flawless. On the other side, you have a record button here. Now, the Wireless GO II starts recording the moment you turn it on. It's a setting that when you plug it into your computer, you run their software, and you can determine, okay, I want it to record or not, period. And if you turn it on, it starts recording. Here, I can choose to start recording or not. Then it has a USB port. Now, of course, USB is going to be for charging. It's also for downloading the files. Difference with the GO II, this mounts as a drive. Pops right up, I grab the files, I'm good to go. The GO II, you have to run their software to do it. So if you're out somewhere, you're in the field, you're with someone else, and you don't have your laptop with their software installed, you can't get the files off. You have to run their software. That, to me, is a major inconvenience on the GO II. Major convenience factor on the Comica. Now, it also comes with two little dead kittens that just pop right on. They got a rubber sleeve. You know, I like that. It's nice and secure. I've never had it come off, so not a problem there. On the screen, it's showing me my battery level, that I've got a microphone on it, signal strength, and an audio meter. So it's actually looking like it's pretty hot right now. So hopefully this isn't going to be too bad when we get to it. Now, there is a number of cool features on here. You can record in mono, you can record in stereo, or you record a safety track, which is going to be 6 dB less in case there's some really hot sound. It can drop that down and give you a backup that's at a lower decibel range. All right, let's talk about range. And this is an important piece for some people. I don't really care about range. I just care about very low latency, so it doesn't have a sync problem. I never need to go 100 meters that I know of with a microphone. But since they state it, we're going to test it. And test it we did. So I mounted the receiver in my driveway and I started walking. And now, I didn't know at what point it was cutting out, so I just kind of had to do it all in post. And what I got was about 125 meters. So I got 25% better range than they claimed. And let's take a look at that test. I've got the transmitter up here, and I've got the receiver connected to my Sony ZV-1, and I'm going to start walking. Now, hopefully having it on my shoulder here will give it more range so I can just focus on where I'm going. But we're going to start walking. So we'll just see at what point we lose signal. And I'll stop at a couple points, turn around, and try and make sure that we get good audio. Okay, I'm passing the first house. Passing the second house. The next house. Now, not really sure where the camera's aimed, but I'm over here now. What I'll do is I'll use Google Maps to measure the distance, and it should give us maybe not even to the foot, but it should give us a decent range or a decent measurement. So I'm a little over 4 houses away from the camera at this point, and I have no idea if it's working because I can't hear it. So I'm just going to have to keep going. In hindsight, I should have had some. This should be about the limit of the range. I think this is about 100 meters. So this is what it should be rated for. And why I would ever need more than this, don't know, but could be. I mean, my little camera is not going to pick someone up at this distance, so I don't really need a microphone that can. Now I got a car going and past in front of us, but I'm going to keep going. By a little bit, even better. I'm about another 100 feet or so, and we'll see. Like I said, I have no idea if it's working. We're going to keep going. And walk across the street, a dip in the side. If this has been picked up by Google Maps, so back 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 6. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm counting off paces because I know that the edge of the street is on Google Maps and the street is, but I don't know if the sidewalk there is. So I've just gone on that spot, and then I'm going to go to a spot on the edge of the street here so I can get a good measurement. So that was 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 1, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. 150 feet from where I stopped. Now I'm just going to walk back, and if it had stopped at some point, maybe it's going to pick it back up again. If it kept working, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to be impressed. Oh, hi, hi, hi. Yeah, yeah. What's your name?
That's Hank.
Hank? Hank and Axel. Awesome. Take care. All right. And we're coming back to the house. All right. I can't wait to see the results of this test. So you can see it works. It has some pretty significant range. No problems. That's way more than I can see myself ever needing. But hey, if you want to, it's got it. Next, let's take a look at the receiver. And the receiver has headphone jack. Awesome. So you can monitor in real time. Has output. You're going to go from here into your camera or other device. USB for charging. And on this side, we have our power button and mode. And the mode is going to switch between the mono, stereo, and safety. And then we have gains for A and B. Very cool. On the R0DE Wireless GO II, you only have one gain, and it's the same for both mics. So if you have one speaker, or if you're doing an interview and one person is way louder than the other person, you cannot adjust the gains individually. On here, you can. To me, that is huge. So let's see what else comes in the package, okay? Here's a second lavalier mic. Again, I'm wearing one of the lavalier mics. You have the second dead cat, which would go on this receiver. We have a number of cables, and this one says Sony, Panasonic, Fujifilm. This one says for smartphones, and this one says Canon, Nikon, etc. Now, the one for smartphones, if you're going into an iPhone, you still need an adapter for the lightning port. There's no lightning connector here, but it does have the appropriate cable. So we got phones for all kinds of different devices. So we have a 3-way USB-C cable. 2 of them are black and 1 of them is orange. And the orange is a data cable. So you can be charging all 3 devices at the same time, and you can be pulling the audio off of one of the receivers. So very cool that it comes with a 3-way charger. And it does come with this nice little hard case. So a lot of good features there. I do want to take a little departure for just a moment and give you a little story about how the BoomX-D saved a shoot. And true story here, we were doing the, I think the opening or the closing of a video on our other channel, and we had the new Deity, it's one of the small Deity mics with a big dead cat on it. And we thought, okay, that should be good. There's not a lot of wind, but that should probably cut it down and it should be good. Well, when we get back to the studio, that audio was unusable. It just had so much wind noise on it. It just wasn't even funny. I'm like, that's an important piece of that video. What are we going to do? And then I remembered, well, the whole time I had another camera inside the vehicle that was connected to the Comica system, the BoomX-D. And so it was recording. And even though I was outside of the vehicle and, you know, it's probably, I don't know, 10, 15 feet away, it was getting perfect audio on the internal recorder on the, even though I was outside of the vehicle and about 15 feet away, the camera inside the vehicle was recording really good audio. Now, the only setup I had was I had the same lavalier mic, but I had a jacket on. So it was kind of behind the jacket, and that's what was cutting down the wind noise. But the system picked up the audio so good that, I mean, there was a tiny bit of wind noise, but I was totally able to clean it up in post. Otherwise, I would have had to go and reshoot that because the audio was so bad. So thanks to having the BoomX-D Pro system, I had a backup of the audio that I was able to use. Now, that's where the R0DE Wireless GO II has a tiny advantage in that it's always recording if it's on. And that just would have meant I would have had it on the transmitter. Now, I'm going to be more cognizant about starting recording when I'm using the BoomX-D system just as a fail-safe. Because had I stopped recording on that camera that was inside the vehicle, I would not have captured that audio. But if I would have been recording on the transmitter, I would still have it. So it did save a shoot, and it's something I'm going to think about for our workflow and how we go about saving the audio. But just a little anecdotal story there for you on how it saved a shoot. Hello, trail travelers. It's Carrie and Katerina, and today we're going to introduce you to the newest member of the Trail Traveler family, our 2022 Subaru Outback Wilderness Edition. Hello, trail travelers. It's Carrie and Katerina, and today we're going to introduce you to the newest member of the Trail Traveler family, our 2022 Subaru Outback Wilderness Edition. Now, if you do weddings, this is available in both black and white. So if white could be a little easier to hide on a bride if you're looking to do that. I went with the black because I didn't need the white. And the BoomX-D Pro sells for $269. So it's not cheap. I mean, it's up there with some of the other products, but it's a pretty cool system. And for me, it works really well. Now, one thing that I didn't see, I watched a handful of videos and I didn't see this in any of the other videos. The receiver, I'm sorry, the transmitter can work as a USB audio device. So if I take the orange cable or some other data cable and I go from here into my laptop, I can use this as the microphone for my laptop. It just shows up as a microphone, as a USB microphone. And I've actually used that to do some voiceover work in DaVinci Resolve. I recorded right from the Comica directly into DaVinci Resolve, and I did that for some trail videos that are for my other YouTube channel, Trail Traveler, and that was some trails we did in Moab, and we just decided we wanted to change some audio. And normally I would hook up the Wireless GO II and do the same thing, but I was like, I wonder if that works. I plugged it in, it worked, it was flawless, the audio quality was really good, I was very impressed with it, and I'm going to continue to use it in that regard. The other thing we've done is we have started using the Comica instead of our Wireless GO II when we're out on trails. I can simply put one of these on myself and Katerina, put the lav mic on, hit record, and it's going to record all day. And it's going to give good quality audio without me having to worry about anything. Now, and I do have the receiver connected to one camera, so it's recording that in real time to the camera, but then it's also giving us a backup to the devices themselves so that we don't lose any audio. And this has worked perfectly. And I've been very, very happy with the audio quality. How does the audio quality compare to the Wireless GO II? You know, it sounds a little different, especially with the lavalier mic. It really picks up really well. For my ears, I actually prefer the Comica. And I hate to say it because I'm a huge Rode fan, but in certain cases, I prefer the Comica. Now, you might not. You might prefer the Rode. Maybe you aren't using the built-in microphones or a lavalier. Maybe you're using a high-end boom mic. In that case, you know, your situation may be different. For what I do on a day-to-day, which is our other YouTube channel, this is pretty much a perfect setup. The DJI mic has a lot of these same features, and I don't really know that it's going to be worth $100 more. So it's going to be interesting to see. That one does have a charging case. When you put everything in, it starts charging. This one doesn't. Neither does the Wireless GO II, although I do have a review of some charging cases that I've been using, so that'll be coming up soon. But doesn't come with it. The DJI one does. And the DJI mic also has a built-in like lightning connector. You can connect it right to a phone. So there's some niceties about it, but for a basic two-person or two microphone system that has everything, the wires that you need, the lavalier mics, the dead cats, all that, the Comica BoomX-D Pro really checks all the boxes. So I highly recommend you take a look at it. Now, I don't have a perfect audio room here. Otherwise, I could do some other testing and, you know, get into the nuances of the noise floor and all that. There's other people who have done that. What I want to talk about is my personal experience in using it. And this thing has worked great. I'm super happy with it. I have no complaints. I'm happy with the audio quality, and I'm really digging the way the whole package has come together. So if you're looking for one of these two microphone wireless setups and you want to save a little bit of money over the R0DE Wireless GO II and the upcoming DJI mic, you should do yourself a favor and watch some other reviews of the BoomX-D Pro. I think it's a valid contender. So going from the worst microphone I've ever used to basically what is now my daily use microphone system speaks a lot for how far Comica's come in the last few years. So thank you, Comica, for sending this over. I really appreciate it. And thank you, viewers, for all the support and feedback that you give me. And if there's anything I can answer about the Comica, leave a question in the notes below, and I'll try my best to answer it. Thanks for watching, everybody. This has been Kerry with Filmmaker Central. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.